Welcome everyone, this is Blazing Chaos and today we're doing LuckPerms. LuckPerm is a great resource if you're trying to do bungee cord servers or any servers in general that you want to try and give more plugins and anything else to users. So this plugin can pretty much be downloaded on all these devices here: Bucket, Bungee Cord, Spigot, Fabric, the velocity, all the other stuff. It is in, I'm going to do this on 1.18 on a test server. If you guys want me to do this on a bungee cord server, let me know. I'm just going to kind of breeze over it a little bit so that you guys can kind of understand what's happening. Otherwise, let's get started. So from here, we are going to download the Bucket one. This will include paper if you do have it. So we are going to download it. I am using a different service called AMP to run all my Minecraft stuff through. Alright guys, welcome back. So what we're going to do is we have all these I have all these plugins in here. I will give you the links to all of them. So Essentials X is a great one for chat features. So it allows you to put names and prefixes and suffixes in the chat because it is a chat controller. You can use a bunch of other ones, but Essentials X is just kind of one of the ones I've gone to time after time. Then you need LuckPerms itself. Placeholder API will allow you to add LuckPerms to anything else, so like tab lists or server, like anything else pretty much that revolves around the server side. Protocol lib, you'll need that. It just kind of helps run the server a little bit more. I added Super Vanish just kind of as a test, so I will put all these links in the description for you guys. And so I already downloaded it, so let me get started for you guys. Actually, let's start here first. So we are going to, that is not very bright. I'm going to pull this up in Notepad++ for you guys. Shoot, here we go. So a lot of this you really don't need to change. It's kind of just there for you. What will happen is, so server, you can put the test one, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to change the server in the LuckPerms to be able to just set it per server. So if I wanted one permission on one server, I would put it on the test server. If I wanted it on the creative server, I could do creative server or something like that. It allows you to pretty much individualize the servers. Next thing you can do is databases. So if you're using a bungee cord server, what will happen is you'll probably want a database so that you can allow it to manage everything. What I mean by that is with permissions, you can have it in a database so that if you change one person's admin rights, it will change it across all 5 servers, say if you have 5 servers. It allows it to be pretty much all one database instead. So if you change something on the hub, it'll change it around the entire server as well. But you can kind of get around that by doing like other settings where like hub only or survival only or any of those settings. It's a really nice feature for admin stuff. Some of this other stuff you can change if you want. Maximum pool collections, minimum number, pretty much lifetime limits, all this other stuff. If you don't really know what it does, don't touch it. It's not really... Honestly, like the biggest things you really need are the MySQL and the server. Otherwise than that, you really don't need to touch anything. So let's get started. So let's save this. I'm going to go back to my server, restart it, and I will be back in the server with you guys in a second. Alright, we are back in the Minecraft server. So what we can do here, we're flying around a little bit. So right now you don't really see a whole lot of anything. What you can do is LP editor is a great one. So every time you do LP editor, it'll create a new tab for you that you can click on this and it will go to an actual editor. So I created test. You can put like prefixes, weights, all that stuff in here. Say we wanted to do SV, all the SV commands, which is super vanish. So if we add that, and if we add the essentials, we'll add the essentials fly command as well, just so that you guys can understand what's happening. Each permission will have its own thing. So as you can see here, SV use, SV reload, SV list, SV login. These are everything you can use to run this one permission. But a lot of it is kind of easier said than done. I mean, you got to split out some of these permissions quite a bit if you want people to use them. Like stuff like this, a lot of it is just admin permissions that you really got to divvy out to people if you want to like split up really well. But what can happen is you can add tracks. So what will happen is you can pretty much list them in groups. So like one will go to two, or let's say, let's do default to test. So what will happen is if anything, so like if you level people up or whatever, or you have an automatic leveling system in your server, which I mean some people do, what will happen is it will go from default to test if you hit a certain amount of points, which is nice. It allows the server to pretty much take care of it all for you. Another thing is, say if you want owner, one of the big things is to do with owner. Star always means all permissions. So if I do this, that means owner will get every single permission on the server. Some other stuff you can do is you can set values. So if you don't want, let's go back to test here really quick. If you don't want people to have fly, you can turn this to false. They will not have fly anymore. Or you can set it for a certain amount of time. So I can set it till in 4 days or whatever. So the permissions will expire and then pretty much delete themselves once they're done. And the last thing you can do, I was talking about with servers. So you can type in server and then test. And this will only happen on the server test. So this will allow you to separate servers. So say prefix I want on Bungie, I could set it, or for hub, I can set it for hub. For fly, I can set it for test. It allows you to separate them out quite a bit. And when you're done, you can hit save, and then go to the server, hit copy paste, and now you can see that everything's been done. So now, some of the commands are really nice and easy. I will give you some of these commands as well. Give me 1 second to pull up the list for you. All right, here we go. So LP will be on the start of everything. A lot of these you may not use. Verbose is a great one for troubleshooting commands. Editor you'll always use. Info is a great one as well, so you can see everything about like different types of servers you have. This will be really good if you do a MySQL server because you can see if it ever syncs, or if you do anything else with it, it will let you know what's going on. Tree, it will pretty much show like the tree of the player and what commands they do and don't have. You can also create groups, weights, and names inside the server. You can do tracks in server. You can list the tracks. You can export the files, import files, network syncs, search, pretty much anything you want to do, you can do in the server. So just for an example, we're going to do LP verbose. We'll do command slash say, whoops, say hi, and then we'll do that. Since I don't have anyone else online, it won't go off. But it's a really great method to do stuff. What will happen is it will pretty much pull up all the permissions that that command has. And if you're missing a permission, it'll say it's false. And if you need to, you can kind of go back and change permissions that way and be allowed to do all that. So since I put a couple permissions in and we kind of know a little bit of the basics behind LuckPerm, we can do deop, raising chaos. So I'm not opt anymore. So if I do /fly, I don't have access to that command because I set that command to false. But if I do super vanish, I am now in super vanish, which super vanish, what it is it allows players to be invisible but still be on the server. So this is great for moderators because what they can do is kind of go around the server, and if they want to, they can kind of see stuff running. If you got any problems, you can kind of go there without spooking players or any of that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the behind the scenes of LuckPerm. It's not a huge plugin, but it is a very, 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 very big plugin on the servers because you really need to know permissions and everything to be able to set your players' permissions correctly. Because if you don't, you can end up with griefed worlds, you can end up with players having permissions they're not supposed to, you can end up with a bunch of issues later down the road. One of the other things is once you're done with LuckPerm and setting it all up, what I suggest doing is giving yourself that rank or that highest rank and then de-opping yourself. Most of the time, it doesn't affect LuckPerm too much if you're opt, but some scenarios have happened where LuckPerm doesn't always work well with opt players. If some restart or something happens, it may affect stuff. But it also is a great habit to do anyway because you've always set the permissions. So you know what you have and what other players have, whereas opt is kind of you have everything. It just allows players to kind of get the best rank and stuff, but also not have to worry about opting players on the server because stuff like shutting down servers and all that stuff can happen if players have op. So it's not really the best scenario to let players have operator. So if you have any questions, you can always leave comments in the description below and I'll try and help you the best I can. Otherwise, if you want to see more, hit the like button and hit subscribe. We'll keep on doing server plugins for you guys. I want to try and make it so that players can build their own servers and pretty much be able to put the resources they need into those servers and be able to build whatever they want. There's a lot of plugins out there for servers, but a lot of players don't know how to use them. So that's kind of why I'm here. Otherwise, you guys can also come to craft.traxon.net. It's one of my Minecraft servers that I'm helped develop. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the future. See y'all.